bit, but in Evil Geniuses' case, a map that we don't see played as much. Still, when it's brought out, though, it's still strong map for them, especially within the region itself. They have plenty of historical results, especially against rosters that are at this LAN that are quite one-sided into their favor. And we'll see if that'll hold to be the case against a team like OrgLess, who played this recently in CCS matches and looked a little bit shaky, especially on their attacking side, which is where they're going to be starting off.
Yeah, it's going to be the coordination for them to move as a unit. We kind of saw that come out later on Villa for their attacking rounds. It started out very sporadic, and then they all kind of coalesced into one functioning unit maneuvering the map together. The separation wasn't as large as it started, and I imagine that's going to continue to be a trend here on Coastline as far as their separation. Ying ban, so we're going back to the first ban of Oregon, and we're taking a hot moment here to get the second ban in, see if it's a Glaz for the third time straight. It's a Twitch. That's an interesting one. Pretty powerful ban if Mira's left, although this would be 3 straight rounds where Mira is alive through the ban phase. Maestro's going to get taken down, so it's all down to Evil Geniuses to ban out the Mira should they choose to.
So they get the choice for the third map in a row now. Chose to do it in the first 2 maps, and it seems like they made a pretty quick decision this time. Is it Echo again, or?
It's Echo
again, yeah, so they're going to take it out, and once again, Mira's going to be left of the pool, and now Twitch is also going to be knocked out this time as well to change things a little bit for these guys, as Glaz is left in.
Yeah, Glaz for the first time will make his appearance in this best of 3 in the US Nationals LAN as a whole. But those 2 defenders of Echo and Maestro, they are not seeing any play, and Mira seeing a stark rise in her play time thanks to not being banned out in all 3 of our first maps.
A little bit more hit or miss, though, in terms of the Mirror pick rate specifically. Looking back at map number 2, a lot of teams, especially on Aviator, are choosing to shy away from it and instead go for more utility overall comparatively to the Windows.
It's a different look indeed, and speaking of a different look, when we're starting downstairs, Kitchen and Service going to be the primary for Evil Geniuses to start out on their defensive side. And all 3 maps in a row now, we've had Evil Geniuses start on the defensive side, trade some rounds back and forth, head into the second half, up 3-2. Well, we have yet to see that if it'll come to true of Coastline. And then different stories as far as Oregon and Villa are concerned, getting swept off the face of the earth after heading to the attacking side on Oregon, and then taking a commanding lead up 5-3 to have OrgLess push back and force overtime. So the attacking side for EG has had a modicum of success, at least on Villa. Coastline, a map that tends to trend a little bit more into the attacking side, should help them out.
Well, we immediately do see the Glaz pick come back into the fray at the start. It's 6 picked in as well by Crazy. So we'll see how much use it's going to have on a pretty hard lockdown site from the outside. Any effectiveness that he's going to have is going to be at that main doorway. It's service entry or somewhere from the hallway, potentially. It's just not going to be able to utilize it too well within the site itself. Still plenty of other positions that we can see you get utilized across the map overall, of course, to try and find some of these roamers early on. But that's all down to chance at the end of the day.
OrgLess looking to pick up where they want to push through as well. You can either go for the top side clear, or you can just send it in through Sunrise Bar. Acid taking down the default cam outside of Lambo doorway, and I imagine he'll be holding this flank here for a moment. Service entrance doesn't seem to be the immediate focal point for OrgLess. However, it could be a returning factor for them, as they could just decide to smoke off Crazy, have him look through the smoke, and have Bryant come in for a quick plant. ADS is being burned out now by Acid in the lifeline, and obviously being on the new patch, Zofia has lost another stun canister, so now she's only down to 2 stuns and 2 impacts in her loadout.
Meanwhile, Glaz, like we talked about before, is going to be primarily trying to entry from the doorway. It's not proved to be the easiest job in the world, but the job is done by Brian instead. The problem is Young continuing to run around the Legion from downstairs. The floor panels opened up, but Young comes out on top of it, taking down Yeti. More than importantly, eliminating the Buck very early on in the round, eliminating any of that soft destruction potential for the rest of it.
Stun grenades being launched in by Brian just to test the waters, see if there's any ADSs left standing, and now the last impact will be used to take down that bulletproof camera on top of the bomb inside of Service. The X-Kairos coming out to be deployed on the mirror window, but they'll be shot off before they can detonate, so that mirror window will stand. Another set being lanced out, but you still got a defender in a position to shoot those off. Lots of sprays coming in towards the Service wall, and it sounded like that mirror actually got ejected now from the X-Kairos detonating on the wall. Smoke's coming lancing in now, and Crazy's gonna push through the smoke. Reciprocating Toxic Babe to push him back, taking down half his HP gone, steps in a Legion mine and gets shredded through the smoke. You still have an attempted plant coming through. Acid holding the flank outside a bathroom door. The plant will be completed now. It's Acid inside. Mo will take down one from above The Guardian Angel raining hell down below. Canadian will trade one out though, down to a 2v2 in a post-plant situation. It's Canadian and NVK, the original tandem. You've got Canadian upstairs looking to vault down. He's made his way downstairs. They still have the diffuser perched up against the door frame, and Brian will take down Canadian, so it's all up to NVK with one on either side of his door frame. The peek coming out from Brian can't land the finishing blow. NVK on 2 HP though, will start to stick to defuse. He's not pulling off. Mo's gonna creep his way up to the doorway. The last possible second, Mo will be the savior. And OrgLess take round number 1 on the attack.
So once again, our first half is going to open up with a very, very closely traded affair between the two teams. Thankfully, it's the easy access to the inside of the doorway from our attacking team from OrgLess that allows them to win out the round as they force the issue on the plant due to the fact that EG choose to play much further back towards the inside of the kitchen. The plant is established relatively easily, and then it's just holding outside from that point forward due to such a strong post-plant position being taken by those guys. Nicely done. Still goes the distance all the way down to a 1v1 though, so OrgLess cutting a little bit close there.
Close 2v2 post-plant situation, but with that diffuser at the door frame, there's really not a lot to be done. You can hold it from a myriad of angles outside. Hookah Billiards going to be the defense now. You're not going to see EG try and reattempt the kitchen defense, at least not for this round. They're not going straight back to it. A 6-pick off the mirror to the Valkyrie, a common theme we've seen from both teams now. And Hookah Billiards going to be the potential starting ground here for Evil Genius to try and garner some success and momentum on Coastline. We've seen the momentum be a huge factor for OrgLess, getting that first round in the pivotal map 3. It's going to be a big portion of their mentality.
So, EG moving themselves to the second floor for their second attempt at a defense. Won't be sticking with that usual kitchen. Continue to play it out. A lot more sites to play with on this map, and they're certainly going to want to test it by going up to Hookah for this round. See if they can continue to find an impact on this defensive side before OrgLess try to run away with things. Good start for them. We talked about how they're a relatively momentum-based team, and a victory like that on round number 1, especially with how seemingly in control of that round they really must have felt throughout the entirety of it. They're certainly going to be feeling good about their prospects for future rounds as well.
Once again, a focus on map control for Evil Geniuses. Not so much hard map control on Villa as compared to Oregon, but here on Coastline, an extended roam game here from Evil Geniuses into the depths of Coastline. They're going to spot out Canadian in behind the Sunrise bars. The first engagement point likely to come through is Yeti, positioned outside of the Sunrise window. Here's that open. Saw Canadian prepping a Valkyrie camera inside of Blue Bar. The first frag grenade will descend upon him, but only take 10 HP away from his. He'll evacuate to the cubby. A second drone will confirm his position, and Canadian will bail out, having killed 45 seconds and absorbing a frag grenade.
As you mentioned, not much damage being done to him by that frag grenade to begin with, so he makes it out. Still very much capable of fighting in the late round. And at a worst case, he could get himself shot by Doc to get back and fight back to full health. But considering Necrox is low HP, that may not be the case. Meanwhile, NVK starts things off well. Yeti once again on the buck, falling early on within the round. Drone trying to move in and scout out towards the aquarium is not going to work out too successfully here, allowing for players like Young to hold behind the bar, but it's Crazy striking next, able to move in on the glass to find one. Young behind the bar, however, quickly trades it back to take down Crazy, and Brian, leaping over the bar, knocks out Young for a quick trade to bring us into a 3v3.
Good position to be in, but it was so confusing watching Brian just push in through aquarium and never glance behind the bar. Young holding his position solemnly and will acquire a kill onto Crazy the Glass, which is an influential pick to be had. So once again, you have the stall out from OrgLess in a better position time-wise, but locked inside of aquarium. A Nitro Cell from below from Canadian will not connect onto Brian. It's the 3v3, and they need to initiate a plant scenario. You still have Valkyrie cameras for the intel, and the Toxic Babes now being sent in from Necrox to try and stall out the aggression. Pinned behind the bomb, but NVK will rip through Mo, and can't let him shots with the pistol. Brian will trade one back, but left alone now with the fuser in hand, whipping out the bearing, wildly spraying, but Canadian will close it down. Evil Geniuses level the round count once again, going back and forth on their defensive stands.
Great active position being taken out by Aqua, just not leaving OrgLess really a whole lot of room to get in without obviously, as we saw, having to trade behind the bar, losing a lot of players there. Then we saw the defenses show up. So much soft breach had been already thrown out at that point by EG around the site that the second pressure was thrown, the second it looked like the execute was coming in from OrgLess, they just immediately collapsed upon the site, and as you saw, completely decimated that attack from OrgLess. So very well done. Good job making up for the loss of the first round, and now they get themselves onto the board early on, and much like our last two maps, it's going to continue to be a traded affair. We go 1 for 1 right at the start.
well, EG running the gauntlet so far on Coastline. 3 rounds, 3 different defensive bomb sites, only successful on one of them so far. Gotcha, gonna 6-pick off the Valkyrie to a Doc, so again, gonna try and utilize that ACOG for those long-range engagements, and we've seen Doc be utilized as a roamer for the most part on Oregon and now on Coastline. Doc just is a flex roam outside of the objective, but not too far away. Coastline, though, like we said about Villa as well, all 4 bomb sites have been used plenty of times before. I think competitively, Penthouse and Theater is actually one of the worst when you don't have a Mira in play. Young picking that up as that notably wasn't banned out. I mean, that returns Penthouse and Theater to one of your primary rotational sites. It's a good spot to be in on the defensive side when we've seen Coastline trend towards the attacking side. In recency, this could be a good flip around for Evil Geniuses. Still having that prowess on the defensive side and maneuvering into a position where it helps their attacks that have been pretty soft so far.
Mirror going to be incredibly useful if they decide to go back to the kitchen and whatnot as well. So the fact that Mirror's been left in general on this map opens up, as you were mentioning, just a whole lot more possibility for defensive play if their usual mainstay sites that they would usually play without the Mirror just end up not working out for them. They've got more options open to them now, and that's been the story for this entire series. The fact that it's been left in on all 3 maps now, choosing to instead avoid the more annoying, I guess you could say, utility that comes out from operators like Echo and Maestro, which often, more than anything, just ends up wasting time, as these pros usually end up knowing how to counter them. It just takes time to figure out where exactly they're deployed and to get someone in position to get them out of the way.
Well, my first thought is that reading that Evil Geniuses wouldn't ban the Mira, and then OrgLess, as Mama will take down Canadian. That's that roam game taken care of quite early for OrgLess. I'm just going to say, with them banning out the Twitch, makes me feel like they're very confident in their ability to keep the mirror windows alive on their defenses. You're giving a mirror window without the Twitch possibility to pop them deceptively. You're just going to have to go for a hard breach of those mirrors. Or soft breach from down below. Another peek now from Gotcha outside of the VIP circle couch window, leveling man count, and that's the breach off the board. That's Brian down, your Hibana taken off. Another drone will come in to confirm Gotcha's location, but he's going to continue to hold Hall of Fame as one by one they all try to rappel up and garner an angle towards him. He'll continue to dance on either side of the doorway, peeking in for another one, but no! Acid will land the shot through the railing. Nice peak angle there from Acid. Once again, giving OrgLess the man advantage in the second one now as Necrox will go down.
Crazy, once again looking for any effectiveness, misses the player on the cross though, as we do see the Mirror coming in to stop it, and even worse off, NVK from the other side is able to pick off one of his only other teammates. Acid going down, nice shot from Crazy, the one tap to finish off. Necrox takes him out of the fight and brings us into a 3v2, favoring OrgLess on the attack. And we've got Mo starting to wrap back around close to the sites. He gets a hard ping as well to quickly knock out NVK. And it's looking more and more like OrgLess are going to be able to easily shut this down, as it's all onto the Mirror now. Young in a 1 versus 3 situation. As you can see, not even a whole lot of room to play with in this situation either. Is just hugging that Mirror, hoping that it's going to work as enough defense. But Buck Yeti, who has seen very little play due to him being eliminated in the early rounds, finally going to be able to get himself a piece of the action this time. Smokes coming in to allow for the plant. A good wrap from Young, but the shots not connecting the way he would have liked. He does, however, get the wall bang to be able to finish off Yeti, taking him down. Tries to go for a second as well, but can't find the impact. And as such, the diffuser will go down, forcing Young to make a play now.
Trying to maneuver in through that rotate hole that was made from his mirror window being destroyed, holding the tight angle, but Young will win that out onto Mo, lacing it for 2! Young, the clutch 1v2, and Evil Geniuses will take the lead!
Young, an absolutely masterful play, and he's even going to have a little bit of fun with it, even though he didn't catch that. Nicely done from Young. Plenty of time, of course, to stop that diffuser. And Evil Geniuses will continue to cut ahead on the defense.
You see Troy getting hyped up. Oh, baby, that's the momentum as well for EG. Once they start feeling themselves, it's a dangerous road. And oh, that Mira. Even without the windows, Young in a clutch 1v3 as total. I said 1v2 in the end there, but 1v3 is shredding through Yeti through the soft wall and then playing the angles perfectly against Mo and Crazy. OrgLess, once again, with a shot at the throats of EG to take a commanding lead, and yet they sacrifice a 3v1 situation with plant down. That's got to be a tough one for the mindset of OrgLess to stay focused and not worry about these things, because it's been the little mistakes that have been the deficit for both teams.
And meanwhile, it'll be the opposite effect, obviously, for EG here, specifically for Young, having himself a massive impact being able to clutch it out in that fashion, especially considering the fact that he had nowhere to work with. He was completely pinned up against that final black mirror that he had to work with. If they had gotten a little bit more aggressive and just pinched him out, it should have been an easy kill, or at very minimum, an easy one-for-one trade to finish that off, but just wasn't the case. That tiny little corner that Young was able to hold ends up saving the day for him, finds the first kill on the flank, and then just outright dominates the 1v2 in the closeout.
Pretty even spread for OrgLess. Yeti, like you said, falling early in rounds, not having as much impact as we would have liked to see, especially from him on Oregon. He had a good run, and then Villa just kind of fell off the map. It wasn't really on the radar for Evil Geniuses as a serious threat. And that's what OrgLess needed. We talked about it on the analyst desk, we talked about it pregame. Yeti is the man to focus on for OrgLess as far as leading the team. Leading the team not only in frags, but as an IGL. He is that star player for OrgLess. And when he's not showing up, OrgLess have had a tough time picking up the pieces.
For OrgLess, they're going to have to start picking those pieces up relatively quickly, as EG are finding their stride. Strong sense on this defensive half. They're looking at a third round in a row that they're able to pick this one up. So they're going to the bars now. Still keeping the mirror in check for it as well. Similar setup also going to continue to be utilized now by the attacking squad, by OrgLess here. Still seeing the Glaz remain a consistent force. This attacking side, similar operators coming in as well. Previous rounds.
Frag grenade going to be used from Yeti to pop up on the castle barricade. A quick peek here from NVK in behind the hookah bar. Both players not going to land either of their shots. Still escaping at 100 HP apiece. And a repel out by the aquarium balcony from Mo to try and establish a crossfire, but the angles are too long. Hard pings will be stale now as they're way too far back. Rotate down the cool vibe stairs from the roamer playing there. Will leave NVK alone inside of hookah with a wave of force coming at him from OrgLess. Just OrgLess moving quite slow, not ready to push in, just not acquiring all the intel they need. Crazy's going to start things off onto Young though from inside of the cubby. A blue bar Canadian will trade one back, and MVK still holding the angle to big window.
MVK still going to be trying to find his impact too, but probably being droned out. He's able to knock it out as easy as he would have liked as of yet. Mo with his trade though brings us back into a more palatable condition, and Canadian tries to make an aggressive push, but it'll be caught by Yeti. Necrox fast to find the trade back, however, taking down Crazy and finally limiting the threat of the Glaz, but Acid does them one better. Also picks one up on his own to trade back. MVK finally leaping into it, though, is going to be able to knock out Mo, and we're down to a 2v1. Attackers with the favor. Refuse on the ground. NVK, great opportunity to be able to knock out the Zofia being played by Acid, but just barely misses that opportunity. Another diffuser will go down.
Plant down, and NVK vaulting into the courtyard now. Once again, a 1v2 situation. Yeti on low HP, but there's a hard mirror facing at NVK to give both of the OrgLess attackers purview into his actions. Turning the corner, and Acid will shut it down. Prone behind the Sunrise tables. Bringing it right back are OrgLess, not succumbing to the pressure of Evil Geniuses. And once again, we level things up 2-2 on 3 consecutive maps in the first half.
Yeah, overall, that last round, though, just a crazy affair. Trades going back and forth both ways, but ultimately ending up favoring the attacking squad. Canadians' aggressive push might have been the thing that swung it back into the OrgLess team's favor.
Yeah.
So from that point forward, they were able to get themselves good control of the double bars and lock down the 2v1.
Yeah, it was tough seeing Troy peek that door and not pick up the frag. Yeti with a good preparation, though, expecting that. You can see it as soon as he hit the Legion mine. He's crouch spamming, backing up, holding S, making sure he's maneuvering out of the purview of the doorway to rip out the pin in safety. He was always ready for someone to make that aggressive play, and it was a good read from him to get back into the action as well. OrgLess, off the backs of Yeti returning. Going to take it and level things up at 2-2. So we've seen every single defensive bomb site now from Evil Geniuses. They've run all 4, and having tested all 4 on their last defensive round of the first half, lest we go overtime on Coastline, we will head to hookah and billiards once again.
Will be the final play for this half. EG look to solidify another 3-2 leading start. Hopefully to crush that momentum coming in from the attacking team, coming in from OrgLess. As at minimum, they've been able to hold up a fight against EG. That's certainly true. On all 3 of these opening halves, they've gone the distance and even dominated them in the second half of our first map. Unfortunately, fell a little bit short in overtime on Villa, and we're unable to get the 2-0, but they're looking strong to keep this pressure going all the way towards the end of map number 3 and really make it a spectacle for whoever ends up coming out on top of this map at the end of the day.
I'm going to imagine someone went hunting at nauseum for a drone there, or else Yeti wouldn't really be losing his mind like that in drone phase. Nonetheless, OrgLess trying to take their first half of this series, both Oregon and Villa went 3-2 in the favor of Evil Geniuses on the first half. On Oregon, obviously, we know that OrgLess ran it right back, ran the table on Oregon on their attacking rounds. And we have OrgLess performance has been a team effort with Brian, Crazy, and Acid all on 21 kills apiece. So sharing the love are OrgLess, the depth coming through for this team, and that's kind of what we also wanted to see in the transition from their Noble days last season, where it was very top-heavy as far as frags are concerned and contribution to rounds. This time with this OrgLess roster, even with a sub in, Mo is not a part of this full-time Pro League roster. With this new incarnation, I think the depth is really going to be the leading charge for this team to stay competitive in all competitions.
Drones still the main focus at this point here. Unfortunately, OrgLess not feeling as confident to push early on the inside of the resort as they have been in some of these previous rounds. It's definitely taking a lot of time to fish things out before they commit themselves to their push. And we'll see if it's similar to what we saw in the previous rounds as well. They're going to try to push themselves in through Aquarium first off, and then move from there. As unfortunately, that was an area where they were held off quite significantly by EG, but I think still at the end of the day, we're able to end up controlling that round. Just got a little bit dangerous due to the trade potential, but no, it was indeed EG that crushed them in the late round there, as I recall it now. Just due to the fact they lost too many players in the trade in this very room. Thankfully, this time it should be quite obvious at this point. EG don't really have as much aggressive contention, so they are going to allow the attackers to walk right in, but you've got the potential flank working its way towards them. Brian is well aware of this. You can see him just face-checked it a second ago. He's going to safely hide himself behind the bar in the event we do see that push come through.
Canadian will detonate a nitrous cell on the wooden barricade as he heard a man rappel up on the side of OrgLess, but long past, and the nitrous cell will fall well short of landing on a target. You got 3 members for OrgLess all stacked inside of Aquarium, patiently awaiting the return of NVK to his post, as Young is also not positioned in behind the bar. Canadian will start things off onto Yeti. Once again, the first casualty is Yeti on the side of OrgLess, and EG, even off that one pick, looks strong right now, poised to take their first half in 3 straight maps.
Crazy walking right in now. He's going to be able to find one pick from the glass. The trade comes in from Necrox a moment later. Mo, however, catching one in the window, is able to knock out NVK, and his hero play coming in now from Canadian, taking out Aston, saving one of his teammates. Gotch is going to be able to pick up another one. We're down to only the Ash, played by Mo now for OrgLess, and unfortunately, he's lost control of the diffuser. Another gas grenade will go out right on top of it. It's too much to deal with. Gotcha will shut it down, and for the 3rd map in a row, Evil Geniuses control a 3-2 lead at halftime.
Now it comes down to which story will it be? Will it be Oregon, where OrgLess run away with the game, or will it be Villa, where they trade back and forth? EG gets the lead, and it's going to be up to OrgLess to bring it back. It's a highly contested map, just like the last 2 in the first half, but now EG heading to their attacking side, having won 3 rounds on the defensive side of Coastline. That's not a small feat to be had, especially when Coastline has been trending so attacker-sided lately. This is a good job here from EG. Obviously, having the Mira on one of their sites helped. Young's individual play as well on the Mira has definitely helped. But Evil Geniuses escaping the first half once again, up 3-2, poised to extend themselves on and become their self-proclaimed, the official USN champions.
As you mentioned, though, it's still a storyline that could go both ways. We could still see OrgLess be able to crush this and steal that honor, as both these teams are battling for a spot in that Eastern Conference final to go up against, I believe, the winner of one of our next matches coming up later on today as well.
Yes, the winner of this will head on to the Eastern Conference final against the winner of Cloud9 and Elephant Gang up next. So we're just at a technical delay, I believe, as we have the timer paused. We're just waiting. Nope, we're back underway. There we go. Blue bar and Sunrise bar will be the defense, the first start on the defensive side for OrgLess.
Going directly into it here. We'll see if anyone uses 6 picks. Yeah, we got one coming out from Young. Ooh, it's over to the Montaigne.
On the Montaigne, the shield play from Young. It's hard to discount.
Attackers need to locate
see how effective it will be. So like we said, it's going to be the bars where we'll start off. It is on the first floor, so it makes things a little bit easier in terms of getting the Montaigne inside at minimum. We'll see if the push on the shield is as effective on attack as it was with the sudden clash pick that we'd seen in the previous night. I don't know if it'll be that effective, of course, but we'll just have to wait and see, as it really threw players on OrgLess off on their own attacking side back in overtime for Villa. Besides that, though, the actual Montaigne picks, unfortunately, from EG here haven't really ended up working out so well. So we'll have to see if they can change that up for this round.
We're also seeing Evil Geniuses rock a no hard breacher lineup composition, and that's kind of actually been a trend lately on Coastline.
It's one of the few maps I think you can get away with it more so than anything, because there's a lot of fairly open routes into a lot of the sites on this map comparatively to some of the others.
You can get away without rocking the hard breacher in your composition, and obviously it's not a strategy that OrgLess elected to take, bringing the Hibana on Brian almost every single round. Young seems to be the focal point of this push, though, coming into the server's door. There was barbed wire and reinforcements set up by Mo to be able to hold this from the typical rotate spot inside a kitchen. You also have the dock of Acid holding from the kitchen doorway at the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs, waiting to pinch in, and Young is going to get a hard ping on his crossfire.
There is another player on the other side of the kitchen that's waiting for this, and it is actually going to be able to catch it. It's Acid now, moving in to be able to find one. Problem is, we will see him getting picked by Necrox, and Motika gets a nice surprise in the doorway. He tries to push past it to confirm the kill, but no, just ends up going down outright to NVK instead. A great start for EG here, as it seems like 2 kills nearly gifted over into their favor to start off this round.
Able to resuscitate Canadian back to life as well, breathing new air and momentum into this team continuously. Crazy. Sending for a full rotation all the way over to Cool Vibe stairs to come back and help with support on the objective, as EG have run roughshod on every entrance they wanted to make so far. And now Young repositioning himself from kitchen, not even going to continue the push at the bottom of the Cool Vibe stairs. He'll instead like to go for the pool entrance. The Toxic Bay will be launched right at his doorway, so he'll have to back off, and losing about 10 HP. But now they spotted out Yeti, who's had to bail all the way back to the bar, and he'll make it. No, the final bullet from Gotcha will end the rotation of Yeti, and Canadian from the backside on the flank. It's all a 1v5 now for Crazy. Try and keep himself in this, but Necrox from the blue bar window. Once again, a 4-2 lead for Evil Geniuses, this time at a level map count, 2 rounds away from sending themselves to the Eastern Conference Finals.
And another definitive round coming out on the attack from EG there as well. Like I said, 2 kills pretty much just gifted over to them right at the start, because OrgLess wanted to try and get rid of the Montane. Really wanted to try and eliminate his escort that was moving in and trying to help him move through the kitchen. Just did not work out. And as such, the Montane reigned supreme. Was able to hold that doorway, cause quite a bit of strife for the players on OrgLess.
Now we head to a hookah and billiards defense for OrgLess, trying to put themselves back at least in control of 1 or 2 rounds, try and bring us back to a closer scoreline. They're 1 round away from being on the precipice of defeat, being on match point. They did a good job of staying in it inside of Villa as well when they went down 4-2. They were able to bring a round back in their favor, trading rounds back and forth, and then that ultimate push at the end of Villa to send it to overtime. So by no means are OrgLess counted out of this. Just in a little more of a precarious spot. There are fewer missteps that you are afforded with 2 rounds away from elimination versus on that second map where you have a little bit more time, a little more confidence in being able to come back.
We did already see the comeback happen once, although it was a little bit less of a definitive scoreline. We'll have to see, of course, is this could be the one that potentially settles it. Is it going to be EG really finding their stride on the attack here and heading straight up to a potential 6-2? Or does OrgLess still have a little bit of fight left in them? Do they have the potential to forge their way back into this matchup for yet another map and potentially allow themselves to close out and bring the upset to the table here? They can knock out EG in the quarterfinals.
Be a good return and adaptation for Evil Geniuses after not winning a singular attacking round on Oregon to come back and win them all on Coastline. It'd be a good flipping of the script for EG to be able to show their dominance and express themselves on both maps on either side. Gotcha going to be starting things out on the aquarium balcony immediately, and that's not something we didn't, that's something we haven't seen from OrgLess off rip. Usually the aquarium would be the focal point for their push, but they would take their time getting there, clearing out the backside of the map control, and also worrying about some vertical pressure from below with Yeti. There is no vertical pressure unless you really want to send Canadian in for using the breaching charges. For the most part, OrgLess are staying horizontal.
It's going to be a poor start for them once again, though, unfortunately. Canadian gets himself off the first kill against Brian. Oh, another pickup coming in from the C4 as well. Crazy able to knock out Young. We have an additional player down from the side of EG as Gotcha ends up getting knocked down. Still potential to get res, though, as it looks like he was off on his own when that happened, so we'll see if anyone's able to retrieve him. It looks like they did get him back up. So we're into a 4v3, now a 4v2 for EG. As they continue to take control, Canadian finds himself another pickup against Mo, and now Yeti is going to move in to try and turn this around, but no, NVK has dominated. He's found himself the closeout as well, over to the pistol to take out Crazy and put EG on map and series point.
1 more is all Evil Genius will need to send themselves to the Eastern Conference Final. OrgLess putting up a wonderful show on Oregon, a very back and forth show on Villa. Seemingly let Coastline slip away from them for the most part. Down 5-2. They need to run 3 back in a row just to send it to overtime, then win the best 2 out of 3 in overtime. It's a bad look here for OrgLess. They've put up one hell of a fight so far, but they will require a lot of resiliency, a lot of deep effort, and a lot of focus to not let their emotions become the better of them and pull this back. They will be heading to Penthouse and Theater on elimination point.
So an attempt to lock down one of the more closed off sites that we've seen. And once again, this brings in an interesting point when you talk about the fact that there's still no hard breacher in the lineup for EG at this point, even after the 6th pick, as they're finally going to move away from the Montaigne over to a Blackbeard instead. But still, it'll be just a tad harder to get access to this site now as a result of moving away from any potential hard breach. And this could still allow for at least one round to swing into the favor of the defenders, into the favor of OrgLess now as a result of that choice.
Well, you've got 3 Nitro Cells on the side of OrgLess on Acid, Yeti, and Crazy. So a lot of denial at range with explosive power behind them for OrgLess. That'll most likely be the focal point for his, for delaying plant and denying entry. I'm sure they're very wary about Young's Montaigne play. Like you said, the 6th pick off to the Blackbeard. It seems like Evil Geniuses have read what site just through operators. They've read in the 6th pick phase which op to switch to, as Young as Blackbeard on big window overlooking Penthouse and any rotations through Theater.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Could be the final nail in the coffin for OrgLess. Ooh. Oh.
Third time's a charm, come on. There
you go. Claps for Yeti. You did it.
Just took him away. Yeti gets it done, however. And Canadian misses it, so the camera is going to stay present outside for the time being. We'll see if he checks in a second, though. So he's already got his eyes looking towards that direction. Doesn't know how he can find it, though, so that camera's going to stay outside for the time being.
See Marcio going searching for it, too.
Can he find it is the question, yeah.
Especially during daytime, the nighttime maps in here. It's always daytime. Canadian running, the breaching charges on Ash as well, not using the flashbangs. Is typically an ADS clear. Shots coming at him from Yeti, but it's the MPX at range through a wooden barricade, so it does like 5 damage at that depth. Canadian will duck away and prone himself in behind the Lamborghini and continue to drone out his path. You still have this entourage of Nitro Cells downstairs and towards the kitchen and service area, awaiting EG's descent in towards some breachable floorboards. But Young will grab the first pick onto Crazy. That's one of the Nitro Cells gone. Brian taking a lot of damage in the depths of Theater, and EG going full send to the objective.
Already getting control of Bathroom and Hall of Fame to work with here early on in the round as well. Now forcing back the defensive setup way deep into the site. Beating a B plant maybe coming up here within these next couple of seconds if they really want to try and force the issue early on EG's side. And that might just be in the cards. The only player they're really going to have to deal with is going to be Acid and Brian. But Brian's incredibly low due to the damage that was done to him earlier. He's pretty much one-shottable right now, and there's no sign of any real impactful lurk that come against it. Yeti's going to get caught downstairs by Canadian, and the options continue to dwindle here, unfortunately, for our defending team, as they're just flushed out so early on.
Flank holding now as Young is going to remove another one from play. Mo takes down the flanker downstairs with Canadian, but the plant is still going down behind the bed. Necrox has been down by a Nitro Cell. Lots of shots, but the Vector won't land this time. It's Modiga alone. NBK ends it. Evil G.